Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and today I'm doing a preview of Threshold. This is an upcoming big adventure game for 1 to 4 players that's modeled after MMOs, massively multiplayer online games like World of Warcraft. And as always, we are not paid by publishers to make previews, we just want to help you make an informed decision and show the game off. And if you like the content on the One Stop Co-op Shop, consider supporting us through Patreon. You get early access to our videos and exclusive videos every month you can't see anywhere else. You can also listen to our weekly podcast for reviews and design discussions, or join the conversation and say hi on our Discord. So Threshold, again, is trying to kind of emulate an MMO. I'm going to be moving my character around this adventure map, trying to complete quests and fight random encounters, and managing my inventory, managing my deck of cards, which is going to slowly level up, and I'm going to get better and better cards in here, although I could also get negative things like wounds. And these cards will be the resources you use to move around on the adventure map, to resolve things in the adventure maps, to do skill checks, and also to engage in combat, which plays out on separate combat boards. But the cool thing is that this card deck is everything for all those modes of play. I'm not doing things that are super different on the adventure map versus the combat map. It all comes down to the same core deck of cards. And the story of this one is that our people originally lived in another world, but when we were being destroyed and attacked by monsters in that world, we found these thresholds, these portals that teleported us to this nicer place. And we've lived here for 200 years. It's a big festival today. You know, everyone's really happy. But then, the threshold portals reappear and monsters start coming out of them. If that sounds a bit like the Horde from Warcraft coming through the dark portal, it made me think of that too. Maybe that's what inspired them. But in the end, I'm not sure if there's going to be like a big final boss or a big ending to this campaign, because what I've seen is very quest-based and like doing little side missions and stuff. And I'm just going to play for a while. We'll see how far we get. Again, this is a very free-form game where, you know, you can have random encounters and kind of do whatever. You'll often have multiple quests to pursue. But I'm going to go through the tutorial quest, although I'm not going to fully follow the tutorial. They do have like a learn to play that kind of controls your actions. I got the basics of it, I think. Although I am working with a very early version of the rulebook. They're even tinkering with it as I record this. So hopefully I don't get too many things wrong. I will ask the publisher to watch it and provide any updates in the video as I play. But the character I chose out of the 2 classes they provided us is the Mystic. This is a magic character, as you can imagine. And I start out with a few items. I start out with specific cards. I start out with some innate skills, 1 nature, 1 ward weaving, and 1 resilience. Those skills determine which cards I can have in my deck. Like here, this nature card costs 1 skill point of nature. So if I have 1 nature, I can have 1 skill point worth in my deck. But also I have some starter Mystic cards, 5 of them that make up my deck. You'll see more of how that all works, and I'll explain in more detail when I complete my first quest and go to level up for the first time. But we do get an initial quest which says Pie Delivery. Dren, Harsted's premier pie maker, wants to make his signature cloverberry pies to welcome the leaders of Haven Council. "We are blessed to have such luminaries in our humble city," Dren says. Sadly, Dren has run out of cloverberries and asks you to fetch some. "Beware of bandits, though. They've been more active lately for some reason." So this shows that this is a recommended quest for level 0 characters. That's me. It shows that when we get there, we're going to have a fight with HP 01. That'll tell us like how to set up the encounter. We get an icon to use to represent where this quest is, which is going to be right here on the map. Shows us where to put it. And it says we have to engage and defeat bandits guarding the berries in that location. That's how we'll complete the quest. So here it goes, next to Riverton. I'm up here in Bayfort. And first we do any start of round effects. Right now there aren't any. Then I get to take my actions. So I have 5 cards in hand, but right now these effects, like the actual powers on them, are only used in combat. Right now, these 5 cards are basically just resources for me to do things, because if I want to move, it costs me 1 if I'm following a road, and you can only cross over rivers where there are bridges, so I could go there, but I couldn't go there, and then there across the water. So I have to discard 1 card to move along a road, 1 card again if I want to go there, and then there, and then there, or 2 cards if you want to move not along a road. Another thing I can do, though, anytime I'm in a location that has a name, like the Terraces, Greendale, Bayfort, is find its entry in the region book, and it gives me other things to do. So here, let's read the little description of Bayfort. Home to the Gilded Pact headquarters. Built to protect Heartland Prairie during the Great War, Bayfort provides a natural port on Barrier Bay. Increases in trade have seen the town grow in recent years. Bayfort isn't far from anywhere in the Heartland Prairies, making its location ideal for further growth. And yet Bayfort remains an idyllic place to call home, for now. So I've got things I could do, and the number here is how many cards I have to discard from my hand to take advantage of that. So if I wanted to fish at the lake, I could spend 2, although I think I might need to have memory 3A first. Memories come from completing quests. If I wanted to visit a sage, I could discard 1 card. If I wanted to shop at the potion master, I could discard 1 card and spend 2 money. I don't want to do any of that. I think in the guided tutorial, they have you buy a potion at the potion master, but I want to keep my money, man, and buy some items later. So we're going to ignore Bayfort, and we're going to spend 1 card to move there. 2, 3, and 4 to get to Harstead. And that means I only have 1 card left in my hand because it would cost me 2 to move in there where the quest is. So let's interact with Harstead because there is something that they had you do in the tutorial that I think is a good idea. But first, let's read about it. Where the hustle meets the bustle, Harstead has grown from an agricultural market into a major trade center. More and more Hearthlanders are moving to the city to seek new opportunities and a peaceful daily existence away from the increasing chaos outside its walls. Okay, so this is kind of like your home base where you town portal back to if you're doing terribly. This is where you can rest to kind of reset all your stuff and level up. You can also go to the market to buy stuff, the blacksmith, just lots of things to do. But the big one I'm going to do is the healer. I'm going to spend 5 of my 15 starting coin to remove a wound. And let's talk about wounds, fatigue, and damage real quick. So currently my deck consists of 10 cards, although in the setup for the tutorial, you add an extra wound card for 11. And you've got 3 key things up here. You've got your fatigue level, you've got your health, and you've got your wound count. My character, and I think all starting characters, have 6 value for their starting health max and 1 value for their max wounds. So what does that mean? My fatigue is going to go up whenever I need to reshuffle my deck, because at the end of each turn, whether I used all 5 of my cards or not, I'm going to discard all of them and draw 5 new ones. So anytime I have to shuffle because I can't draw, I'm going to increase fatigue by 1. Simple enough. And at least from what I've seen, pretty much the only way to lower fatigue back down is to rest, like kind of give up and go back to the town center to chill for a bit. Okay, so your fatigue's going up. Whenever you take damage in combat or outside of combat, you're going to move your health down. And by the way, it can't go past your max health. And whenever you take damage that brings you to or past your fatigue, whoops, you get a wound, which means your wound track moves up. You get a random wound card and shuffle it into your deck, but your health goes back to your max. So you have to kind of meet your fatigue again before you're going to take another wound. But if you ever take a wound that would take you past your max, remember right now my max is only 1, so if I went to a second wound, then I'm defeated, and when every character is defeated, because I don't have a ally to come and help me out, then I lose a bunch of stuff. I have to teleport back to Hearthstead and basically lose my session. I have to go back and try whatever combat I was doing back over. So that's why I'm going to the healer and paying 5 of my 15 starting coin to get rid of the 1 wound. There it is. That's hanging out in my deck. And those are randomized wound cards from a wound deck, because some of them have nastier abilities than others, like they have restrictions on your hand while they're in your hand. Anyway, so that cost my last card to interact with that action at Hearthstead. So then I would do any end of turn effects. I don't have any. I would reset by discarding all the cards remaining in my hand. And then I draw 5 more, which is my entire deck. And I don't have to increase my fatigue yet because I have not gone beyond that. Now, if I was in combat, all the enemies would take their turns. We're not there yet. But then at the end of the round, if we're not in combat, we have to roll this die for each location where characters are located. So we'd only roll it once if 2 players were both in the same spot. And we'll either get nothing or a little boot icon, which will make the random encounters on the board move towards us and possibly engage us in combat. Now, there are no random encounters to start out because to have random encounters, you need to draw tokens from this bag. And until we have our first quest, we literally can't pull anybody because nobody's been added to the enemy bag yet. So we'll get to that very quickly. But they did want us in the guided tutorial to have this symbol instead, which means we have a little adventure. So we draw the top one, and this one is kind of mandated by the Learn to Play. So we have a broken wheel, and it's immediate. Sometimes these will be ongoing, which means they give you a little side quest you can try out. But you have to complete those little side quests. First of all, you can only hold 1 of them at a time. You have to complete them before you rest, before your fatigue gets too high, and you have to go back to Hearthstead to rest at the inn. But here's just a quick little encounter. Farmer Dell is struggling to repair a broken cartwheel. "I gotta get these cucumbers to market before they go bad," he says. "I'm in a real pickle. Can you lend me a hand?" Okay, so I've got 3 options. I could lift the cart while Dell repairs the wheel with a lift check. I could find a rock to place under the axle with a survey. Or if I had 2 materials, I could just provide them to mend the cracked wheel automatically. I'm going to go, I figure my character is probably better at this. I'm going to go with find a rock to place under the axle. So what does this stuff mean? I'm going to flip cards from the top of my deck, which is tiring me out. Remember, in fact, I'm going to have to immediately take a fatigue because I've already gone through my deck. And each card I flip is going to have a value down here in the corner. You'll see some 1s, 2s, and a 4. And what I'm trying to do is stop within this range. So if I stop at 4, I'm good. 5, good. 6, good. But if I go over to 7, uh-oh. Or if I stop before I get to 4, uh-oh as well. Now, the mind plus or minus 1 part means that if I draw a card, I was going to show you the mind keyword. Apparently none of my cards have the mind keyword. So never mind. I'm going to try for the lift body one. But yeah, if I get a card that had body here, or mind if I was doing the other one, I could count its value as 1 higher or lower to try to finish up more effectively. So yeah, we are lifting the cart with Del, looking for body as a bonus, but we're trying to stop at 4 to 6. All right, so we do have to gain fatigue to reshuffle our discard pile. And let's see what we get. Oh, that was quick. We got a 4. Great. So we are done. We could stop. Although again, if we'd gotten less than 4, we could push our luck and keep going. And we flip the card over. A success. Del finishes a quick repair while you strain. Good enough to get me to market, says Del. So I get 5 coins. Nice. I get 4 experience. And I shuffle in adventure AH36. Now, this is interesting. Clearly, I missed some instruction because I just thought all of these were shuffled together, but I guess some of them aren't supposed to be in there yet because this one is definitely like a continuation of this other adventure. And I got 4 experience. Now, in the final version of the game, my character sheet is supposed to sit on top of this game tray. It would look like this, and I'd have spaces for all these cards and stuff, and I would have spinners right here that would get covered here so you only see these numbers, which would let you keep track of your experience, which actually goes to 999 because that's how much you need to advance to level 40, the highest you can go. But the spinner technology is not quite working yet. Like, this doesn't quite fit into the game tray successfully. So I just borrowed, I think it's from like an old version of Dice Throne. I borrowed this. How much was it? 3 experience? Oh, no, but it's checked. It was 4. And I think this card goes away because I don't think I can have the same adventure again. That would make sense, right? All right, and there we go. Okay, so that was the end of the round. We go into the next round. I already have my 5 cards. So I am going to spend 2 cards to move in here and then 1 more to take what's called an engage action, where I will battle the people in the quest. If I wanted to have everybody else, if I was playing a multiplayer game and I wanted to have them help me, which you definitely want to because quest battles at least are based on the full number of players in the game. So you're kind of expected to fight them all together and not to send one person to deal with them. But if that was the case, we could each come in and engage to join the battle. Or if people started their turn here, whoever spends their action or discards a card to engage would allow everyone else to automatically come in. But here I got to discard 2 and then 3. But I get to keep the cards that are in my hand and just redraw up to 5 when the combat starts. So let's see. I see this Nature's Revolt card does a lot of damage. This Desperate Ploy does a lot of damage. So I'm going to discard these other ones that are like basic defense things. You'll see all this when we actually get into combat. So 2 to move and 1 to engage. Let's fight some bandits and show you how combat works. So first of all, I do draw back to 5 cards, so I'm ready to go. And I don't think I have to discard the cards I already had because you immediately take a combat turn. And I go into the encounter book and find the HP 01 that went with my quest. So it says I'm going to fight 1 thief since there's 1 of us in the party. And again, this would be based on how many people are actually playing the game, not just who's in the combat. So if I was playing a 3-player game, but I went here by myself like a dummy, I'd have to fight 3 thieves by myself. So it tells me which combat board to use. It shows me where the enemies are going to spawn. So my single thief is going to be over here, and I'm going to be over here. My objective is defeat all enemies. Pretty straightforward stuff. All right, so first, here are my thieves. So I've got the rewards I'm going to get for defeating each thief, which is a loot die, which you roll when you get back to base and rest to get some stuff, material that we can use, and some coins. It shows me how their combat deck is going to be set up. I'm going to take the thief card specifically, 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A, and shuffle them, although some enemies have you like keep the cards in a specific order. I have the tiebreaker, so who they target, although here I'm the only option, so it's not going to matter too much. And then their stats. Each thief has 8 life. They deal 2 damage plus modifiers, which will be based on their combat deck. They have 2 value for their blocks. They're not going to start with any of this, but if they have an action card that tells them to gain block, they'll move it on this track, and each of their block will stop up to 2 damage. And then they have their movement stat, which is 1. And you can also keep track of status effects. So I'm going to put this near the board. I put me on my space. The first thief is over here. And then I take this health token that shows their number and I put it over here on the 8 to keep track of their health. But then remember, this is going to keep track of their block if they get any. And then I take their 4 action cards and I shuffle them. And the top card of the deck gives you an idea what they're going to do. So this one says Pepper, and that is, I think, the medium range icon, which means that they can reach up to the adjacent zone. So each of these colored areas is one zone. So like range attacks can often hit somebody in your zone or somebody in an adjacent zone. So basically for him, I either want to get like really far away or just charge him, depending on what my cards are. But I get to take my turn first. Let's see if I can just kill this guy. So let's talk about my cards now in more detail. So first of all, up here, if it's a lightning bolt, it's an immediate effect, and then it gets discarded, or not discarded, it goes into your play area, and at the end of the turn, you discard in case you have like draw effects and such, kind of like a deck builder. If it has the little hourglass symbol here, then it has an ongoing effect. It stays in play, and it'll tell you like how it goes away. Like, for example, the Ward of Protection keeps on giving me the ability to block 3 damage every turn. But at the start of each of my turns, I have to pay 1. That means discard a card from my hand or discard this, but still pretty awesome. The number under here is how many other cards I need to use to pay for it, kind of like, I don't know, Marvel Champions. So if I wanted to use Nature's Revolt, I would have to discard maybe like these 2 other cards to play it. You have keywords. Those are referenced by other cards, kind of like the skill checks, but they don't inherently do anything. And then you have the effect of it. And down here is like how much it costs for adding it to your deck and what's the max you can have in your deck, and also its little skill check value. But really all you care about is here. So let's see what my options are. I've got Desperate Ploy, costs 1. I can target an enemy that's adjacent to me or in the same zone as me and deal 3 damage. Then I can move up to 3 spaces. Okay, then I've got Nature's Revolt, the one that I really wanted to play. I spend 2. I can target each enemy in my zone and 1 adjacent zone and deal 4 damage to each of them. Heck yeah. Although I guess with only 1 guy, it doesn't matter as much. I've got Pesky Ping. I can draw 1, then target an enemy that is adjacent or in my zone and deal 1 damage. Well, that's 8, isn't it? No, that's 7. 1 plus 4 plus 2 is 7. I've got the Ward of Protection you already saw that lets me block 3 damage. And finally, I've got Endurance. This is a cool one. It says I can play it to shuffle this card into my deck, but if I pay for a move action or another card's cost, I shuffle this into my deck, which means I'm getting the benefit of using it without going through my deck and becoming fatigued too quickly. Now I can also move because, as you saw, a lot of my attacks and things need to be in the same zone. So each card you spend lets you move a single space. Pretty simple. All right, so he's going to attack. If I got next to him, maybe he couldn't attack me since he's an archer, but he might be able to still hit me. So like I'm thinking I want to get the Ward of Protection out and also maybe blast him with Nature's Revolt. Although I can't forget that Pesky Ping does a damage and just lets me draw a card. Now that's not 100% free because it is making me go through my deck faster and get more fatigued. But let's move. So I'm in the same zone as him. I'll use the Endurance for that so it gets shuffled into my deck. Oh, which is 2 cards. So when Pesky Ping lets me draw again, I have a decent chance of getting it. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and use Pesky Ping. So I am drawing 1, and I'm targeting an enemy that's adjacent or in my zone. We are in the same zone now, and he's taking 1 damage. He currently has no block, so he can't stop that. And what do I got the Endurance. That worked out great. So with that, well, I still can't afford everything, can I? If I do Nature's Revolt, I won't have enough left to play anything else. So I could do Ward of Protection and Desperate Ploy to do 2 damage instead of 4. But 4 gets this guy really close to dead. But he's going to attack me. All right, you know what? I will play Ward of Protection. So it's ongoing and will let me block 3 damage when I'm attacked. And I think it's against every attack against you, which is kind of crazy for only 1 card each turn. Or maybe you can only like apply to 1 attack each round. I'm not quite sure. Seems really good for a level 1 card if it is against every attack. So I'll pay for that with Endurance so that gets shuffled back inside my deck. And then I'll fire off the Desperate Ploy, paying with Nature's Revolt. So I'm going to do 2 damage to the guy, and then I can move up to 3. He is an archer, right? So I'm going to assume that if I'm next to him, that might help me out in some way. All right, then I discard all the cards I played this turn. Well, except for my ward that's hanging out, and then I draw back to 5. Uh-oh, I'm at 2 fatigue now. But I got new Nature's Revolt. You're going to die, dude. All right, now we do the enemy turns. And if we had multiple thieves on the board, we would still draw just this top card, and they would each resolve that in number order. Oh, that's what this was. This isn't their movement. This is like their initiative. So you do the lowest number to the highest. So if it was thieves and somebody else, the thieves would go first. See, look like these brutes that are stronger. They go on turn 2. Got 16 life. Oh my God, 5 for block and 5 damage. I'm glad we're not fighting them. All right, so what have we got? Pepper, medium range attack. Target each non-adjacent character. This worked out great. That is in your zone or adjacent zone and deal their value in damage. So they would have dealt 2 damage to everybody who is in their zone or adjacent zone unless they're adjacent. And if there were multiple thieves, you could see how they would like really spread out the damage quite a lot. But you ain't doing nothing, buddy. You didn't even get a block to protect you with. So I think you're going to die. All right, at the start of my turn, I don't need the Ward of Protection anymore, do I? I think I can kill this guy. So yeah, we'll let that time out, and all I have to hit him with is Nature's Revolt, so I need one more damage, but I know those pings are sitting in there. So let's play an Ethereal Shield. It'll also sit out. When I play it, I get to draw a replacement, and it costs nothing. And then when I'm attacked, I block 1 damage and discard the card. And I think that's not an optional thing. All right, so we draw another Nature's Revolt. I can't afford that. Right? Yeah. So let's... Well, here, you know what? Before we draw, let's play our first Nature's Revolt to do 4 damage to the guy. And we'll discard the Endurance and the Ward of Protection. That way we have a chance when we play that shield thing to draw the Endurance again. And then, yeah, there we go. We'll play another shield. We'll draw Desperate Ploy. Oh, that'll do it, right? Yep, because it's going to do 2 damage to the guy. So if I discard Nature's Revolt to play it, he is defeated. And I think all these ongoing effects get discarded because once you're not in combat anymore, it doesn't matter. But I don't get to reshuffle my deck for free or anything. So I'm going to still keep on getting fatigued. But we defeat the thief. So we get 2 coins, we get a material, and we get the weakest loot die. Which looks like this. We don't do anything with this yet, but when we rest, we will roll all the loot dice we've gained. And we're hoping for the letters because that'll actually get us items or the money. The arrow result just lets you re-roll this die or another die. And if you get 2 of them, you can upgrade those 2 loot dice into the next level die. Maybe get an uncommon item instead of common or a rare item instead of uncommon. But for now, I'm just holding this with my character along with the 2 money and the material. All right, now here's an important part. Every time you defeat an enemy type for the first time, you take all of their health tokens, not just the one I actually fought, and they go in this enemy bag. So it's a bit like Hoplomachus Victorum, if you've all remember how that game plays, in that as you face off against cooler enemies, the bag will kind of naturally adjust. So right now, if I have a random encounter, all I'll fight is thieves. But if I have a random encounter again later after I fought somebody else, it could be a mix of things. And sorry, this is so tiny, I printed it out. But you can see the threat value of each enemy type. So thieves are the weakest. They are 1. And when you have random encounters, it'll tell you how much threat, and you just keep on drawing from the bag until you equal or exceed that. So you could actually end up with a nastier encounter than you thought. But hey, good for us. We finished the pie delivery. So we need to complete it at Hearthstead. So I'm going to put the token there to show that we can finish the quest when we go there. And we don't get anything for it yet. Now, I think in the Learn to Play, they just told you to teleport immediately, which would mean discarding all your cards, and then you're going to rest automatically. But you can also complete quests at any time, so I think I can complete the quest immediately from teleporting to Hearthstead, and then be able to use the experience from the quest to level up. So let's do all of that. Let's read what it says. Excellent, Dren exclaims. These are the most succulent clover berries I've seen in a long time. He looks at your bedraggled gear. I hope you didn't have much trouble gathering them. Here, take a few berries and come back later when the pies are ready. Okay, so we gain the Quest Home Invasion. We get another basic loot die, and we get 3 coins, and here's the big one, 10 experience. And here's Home Invasion, but we'll get to what's going on with that in a second. Let's go ahead and show you how leveling up works, and just resting in general. All right, so resting, we have to all be present. I discard all cards. I discard all ongoing adventures. Those are, again, these things that happen when you roll that adventure result on the die, not your quests. So you only have until you rest to finish those. I go back to max health. I go back to 0 fatigue. And if I had any status cards or bonus cards, like nice cards that I added to my deck, those would get taken out. Importantly, wounds are not. So you do have to go and actually spend the money to heal your wounds, I think, unless you get defeated entirely, and then you heal for free, I'm sure. Okay, and then we shuffle our deck back in. Ooh, we roll our loot dice. All right, so here we go. Let's see what we get. We got a C and a reroll, and the reroll can reroll itself, but only once. Ooh, we got 2 common items. Heck yeah. So there's a common, uncommon, and rare deck. These are shuffled. And they say tier 1. I imagine with you going up again to level 40 at the end, that the tiers can probably get pretty high. So I got a accessory and a jewel. So you can have equipped at one time 2 accessories, 1 armor, and 1 weapon. I've got 1 armor and 1 weapon right now. The jewel, I think... I'm trying to remember what that was. I think it's something you exchange for other things. Either way, I think I just keep it in my backpack. But the frayed belt says I get 1 sharp shot. So what this means is your character, as I mentioned, has a bunch of skills to start out. 1 nature, 1 ward weaving, 1 resilience. And then my tattered robe gives me a ward weaving. My earth amulet gives me nature. My frayed belt gives me sharp shot, which means I now could, in a second, add any number of sharp shot cards. So this is kind of like, it's a little bit like skill paths in Elder Scrolls, the chip theory game. So I can take anything, in this case, only long shot, and I can add one to my deck because it costs one skill point, and my frayed belt is providing that one skill point. But I would need to get a better sharp shot item or something else if I wanted to get pin in place or multi-shot or these more expensive, more powerful ones. But even if I don't love sharp shotting, even if that's not really what my character's about, you still might want to add more cards to your deck because that just means you are fatiguing that much more slowly, going through your deck more slowly. We'll get to that in a second because there is a step in resting when we get to redo our deck. But either way, great job, Loot Dice. Good rolling. What were the chances of that? Let's see. 3 out of 5 sides are C, so it's not as unlikely as I thought. Okay, then I can update my character equipment. So yeah, we already did that. Now level up if applicable. Here you go. Big level up document. So this should say 1 at the top. To go to level 1, we need 10 experience. To go to level 2, we need another 10. This is how much you're spending. To go to level 3 is 11, 13, 14. Look, eventually 885, 999. An important thing, you'll see some of them have hearts or the little wound cross symbol underneath them. That means when you reach that level, your max increases. So when I get to level 3, I'll now start with 7 life. And every time I take a wound by going to the fatigue symbol, I would go back to 7 life. And when I get to level 5, I won't die when I take my second wound. I'll have to take a third wound to die. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and level up to level 1. And then importantly, each character class has its own deck of cards. So this is the one for the Mystic. And you'll see that all my current Mystic cards say starter on them. So they don't cost anything. I can always have them in my deck. But all the rest of the cards in my skill deck have a CP cost at the bottom here. Those are class points. And the number of class points you can add to your deck is equal to your total levels. Right now I'm level 1. I can add 1 point to my deck. And now's the time to do it. Update your character deck. So I gained 1 level of sharp shot. So yeah, let's get that long shot in there. And then I gained 1 CP from leveling up. I did not get any more nature or ward weaving or any of the skills I already have. Although I could freely change things out. Like, look, I've got Warder Protection and Nature's Revolt. Wait, why do I have so much? Oh, no, okay, Warder Protection is Ward Weaving. See, I've got 2 Nature's Revolt here that are each SP1. But I don't need to do that. I could get rid of both of them and instead have SP2 Insidious Roots. Let's see what that is. Target each enemy in your zone and an adjacent zone. Deal 2 damage and they each gain 1 immobilized. Ooh, that is really good. Like Nature's Result, it's hitting a bunch of people, which is not ideal in solo. And Immobilize is not going to help much about the thieves that seem to be ranged people. But I imagine when I get into other nasty people, that might be good. Well, for now, I'll keep Nature's Revolt because it's 2 cards instead of 1. Then I have 1 starting Resilience. Endurance is the only card I can get. And let's check what my options are. Warder Protection. I could instead do Chain Weave. So it always goes 1, 2, 3, it seems. So Chain Weave stays in play for 1. I add 3 counters to it when I play it. At the start of each turn, I remove 1 counter, or pay 1, or discard this. When you're attacked, remove 1 counter to block 2 damage, then exchange hexes with the attacking enemy. So yeah, I think I could remove counters to block the damage, or keep it in play, or pay 1, so it's a bit more flexible than Warder Protection. But it's blocking less damage. I'm not sure the exchange hexes thing is that good yet. So now I'm going to keep my Warder Protection as well. So yeah, only adding the long shot, and then which CP do I want? I've got another Pesky Ping, another Ethereal Shield, and then this one. Precognitive Vision. It's a 3 skill value, which is fine. Play, reveal up to 5 cards from your deck, discard any number, and place the rest back in any order, and then draw 1, and it costs 0. It seems like it'll be really good when I have wounds and other nasty things, but I don't really want to discard a lot of cards. So, Pesky Ping and Ethereal Shield are both nice in that they just replace themselves, so no reason to worry about them. Let's get a little bit more free damage and get the Pesky Ping. All right, then I can perform any number of landmark actions here for free. I'm not sure what the embark cards are. And then I draw back to 5 cards and we do new stuff. Oh, and then after we've done all of this, we put mobs out because now we actually have some thieves that can fill them and we'll see how stuff goes. All right, so I could go to the market. I don't need to go to the blacksmith. I don't have a vocation yet. You get a little side job you can use to make stuff. I don't need the healer. I can get drunk to get a heroic effort card added. I don't have this memory yet, so I can't do that. Well, here, it can't hurt to try the market, because remember, I'm not spending anything for this. So I draw 2 common items. I can purchase them. I can sell items for half their value. Now, if I get something that gives me a new skill, I won't be able to do anything with it yet, but hey, it'll give me an option for later. So I got an old cloak that would give me access to the conjuration path. That's another accessory, so yeah, for right now, I don't really care. And then another jewel fragment. What the heck? Oh, look at this. Jewel fragments are that symbol. Does that apply to anything in town? Oh, here we go. Look, we can spend 2 materials, 5 money, 2 jewel fragments, and create an affix. This is from the affix deck. Let me show you this. This is a John D. Clare style like card construction thing. So I could put this in a sleeve and call it the frayed belt of swiftness. And now, not only does it give me sharp shot for my skill building, but also lets me use it by flipping the card over to move once during combat for free. And then to flip it back over, I think it happens when you rest at the end, although it didn't say it. Or you can spend, it's like materials or things you can mine. Depends on like the item to bring it back. But then other ones, like this one, the frayed belt of the iron wall, will give me more skills. And these ones are actually better than the basic one, because sharp shot is specifically the sharp shot skill tree. But defense is it gives me 1 point for any of all of like the defensive themed skill decks. So that's how you're going to more easily get like, really powerful nature cards or something. If you get these cards that give you a lot of flexibility in which skill lines you get. But none of those really interest me much, so I'm just going to put them back in the discard. All right, but I get my 5 cards, and yeah, we're ready to go out and see what's going on. Starting by spawning the encounters we did not have at the beginning of the game. The book tells you where they spawn whenever you finish resting. And at the end of each round, when we roll this, if we get a 1 or a 2, we'll find the encounter that's closest to us, and they move that many towards us, 1 or 2, whatever is rolled. And if they reach you, then they get an attack. But also, you can exist in their space, and they might not find you. If you're already in their space and they roll a movement, they also start a fight. Alternatively, if you want to fight them for experience or whatever, you can initiate a combat with 1 card for that engage action that you saw before. There's also, by the way, these like little forts, I forget what they're called, that you can attack. We're not going to worry about those. Let's keep on focusing on quests with, where's the quest we unlocked? There it is, Home Invasion. Engage, defend Harstead from monsters. We got to go over there. It's a level 1 quest. Well, hey, we got level 1. HP 2 encounter. Dren asks you to deliver the pies. As you approach the council tent, an argument rages inside. We must protect our homes. Bandit will disrupt trade. How long have you known? As you listen, an alarm sounds at the city gate. Shadowy monsters are attacking! The council leaders rush out, see you, and yell, Why are you waiting? Protect Harstead! I'm glad we're the only people that can take care of this. So we got to go there and engage. Oh, by the way, Harstead and any other like town, like these places, they cannot have encounters enter them. So they have to like walk around them because they have town guards and stuff. But places that are not settlements like the crags or the terraces or the threshold, enemies can move through those. Well, shoot, let's go and fight some people. So long shot. Oh, target any non-adjacent enemy anywhere on the board and deal 4 damage. That's pretty dang good. Nature's Revolt, we already know, is really good. Those both cost 2, though. I'm trying to figure out which things I want to use. Okay, I can't afford 2 Nature's Revolt, clearly. It's going to cost me 2 to move there and 1 more to engage. So what do I want to keep? I think I'll keep the Nature's Revolt and the Pesky Ping. And we'll use these 3 to move 1 and start the engagement. Let's battle again. Oh, this time we're fighting a masked imp, which means they're going to get added to the bag too. We're on a different map. And at the end of the round, no enemies remain, sure. At the end of the first round, before checking if objectives are met, if there are 2 or 4 characters, reinforce 1 masked imp. So you would start with 1 at both 1 and 2 player, but another one would pop out. Okay, we only got to deal with 1 right now. All right, here we go. Let's check out our new friend. So he's going to give me 2 loot dice and one of those, what is that? Minerals and supplies, those are like the basic ones. Essence, I think you drain from something that isn't in this place. And then jewel fragments we already saw. Okay, they've got 5 cards shuffled, 10 life. They hit for 3, they get 3 if they're blocking, and their initiative is 4. And on top of the deck is Surprise, which says they're going to move and melee attacks. Maybe I want to stay far away. That's what we got. We got, oh wait, did I not? Oh, that's right, I did use the thing. So he's in an adjacent zone, so I get to smack him for 4. But I don't really want to move. Let's let him come to me, right? So let's, so if I do 2 for Nature's Revolt, the shield will let me redraw. The ping will let me redraw, but I can't hit them, so it doesn't matter. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the endurance and the pesky ping to play Nature's Revolt, hit the guy for 4. He's down to 6. Endurance gets shuffled back in, of course. Then I could use Ethereal Shield to draw 1. and have one more block going. But I don't think I need to go through my deck that quickly. I'm hoping Water Protection will be enough. So I'm going to discard Ethereal Shield to play the Water Protection, which means I'm ready to block 3 if he gets to me. That's his regular damage value, although sometimes the cards will make it deal more. Okay, and then I got to draw 5. Ooh, I still have not exhausted myself the first time. Nice. All right, and let's see what he's doing. Teleport, well, that didn't work out. Adjacent to a character. Target each adjacent character, deal your damage, then they gain 1 dazed. So you get to pick, generally, like there's a lot of freedom in how the players kind of resolve things. We'll go like that. I didn't say, by the way, they have standees for the enemies. They do have miniatures for the heroes, but just for the video, I thought it'd be easier to see, although I guess it is a little tough to tell which hex they're in. Okay, so the Water Protection blocks a 3 damage. Heck yeah. But I'm adding this Daze card, and I think it shuffles into my deck just like Wounds when I gain them, which sadly means it's going to be what I draw next time. But not yet. Going to the next turn. He's got Slink Away. He's just going to move and block. So I don't need to worry about defense at all. Let's discard the Water Protection instead of paying for it. And I just want to hit the guy. So I've got Desperate Ploy, and I've got 2 Pesky Pings. Well, let's start with the Pesky Pings first. So that's 1 damage, draw a card. Oh, right, the Daze. I knew that. So when you draw this card, discard one of your delayed cards from play. That's like the defensive cards, the Hourglass things. I don't have any, so that's good. While it's in your hand, it cannot be used to pay for cards or actions. So that's kind of annoying. But when it gets discarded, it gets exiled. That's kind of like, isn't that the Dazed effect in Slay the Spire? I think it might be. But anyway, yeah, so it's just a dead card. We'll forget it's there. Let's Pesky Ping again, although that is going to raise my fatigue level up as I reshuffle. But I got the guy down to 4 life, so if I can get my Archery or my Nature's Revolt, there we go. Okay, so yeah, the rest doesn't matter. I will use Endurance to shuffle it back in, and Ethereal Shield. Sorry, I shuffled the Ethereal Shield in by accident too. That gets discarded. That plays Nature's Revolt. He's in my zone and adjacent zone. 4 damage, take that. Kill him without getting hurt. These go away. That's getting discarded. And the Dazed is exiled. Nice. So I get 2 loot and what was it again? A material? No, a mineral. But now we got to add these guys in the bag too to hang out with our thieves. And I flipped it over. I got to go back to Hearthstead, of course. And I'm not sure. I think I rolled this at the end of combat since it's like the end of a round. Maybe. Let's see what happens. Okay, 1 move. This guy's 1, 2, 3, 4 away. This guy's clearly closer, but he won't go into Hearthstead. So they are right next to me. But I go into another turn. I can spend 1. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, I didn't have to spend 2 cards to move in there. I just realized when I initially moved in, I only had to spend 1. That's okay. But yeah, let's go ahead and move. Oh, here. I'll use... No, I don't think endurances... I think powers don't apply unless you're in combat. So I think even though I am moving... No, because I'm not moving. I'm traveling. That is a different word. So yeah, I'll go ahead and use that to move into Hearthstead. And I don't think it takes an action. Crud, I should have looked at the Learn to Play again. I think we can just complete it for free. Let's assume we can. So it says, as the last smoke monster falls, a shadowy figure looms, gazing at you from multiple eyes and then fades away. Uh-oh. Well done! Supreme Commander Senho, leader of the Haven Watch, smiles broadly. Why didn't you do anything? We will have more need of heroes of your caliber. See council members Monk and Bex. They have tasks for you. Oh, man. So now we get some branching. Gain quests Bandit Menet and To the Prairies. We get 2 more loot. Whoa! And we get 4 money and 10 more experience. We can level up again. Jeez. Yeah, this definitely feels like World of Warcraft, where you just kind of level up like it's nothing at the beginning of the game. This is cool. I could get more common items just for selling if I don't want them. But also, don't forget, if I get 2 of the arrows up, I can roll one of the ones that might give me an uncommon item. All right, now let's look. We got Bandit Menace and To the Prairies, which are both suggested level 2. So should I level up? I mean, I've had such an easy time, though, with these first quests. Do I really need to? All right, To the Prairies says we have to go to Heart's Landing, which is, right next door, and talk to Robin Cowell. That's going to be an interact, landmark action. Excellent work vanquishing those monsters, commends Gilded Pact Chancellor Conus Monk. We will need more such heroics in the coming days, but the people need heroes as well. Go, experience the Heartland Prairies. Okay. What's my other option? Bandit Menace, retrieve the stolen weapons. And this one's a fight, whereas this one's just a skill check. The council leaders request an audience. Monsters aren't the only issue facing Haven, says Gilded Pact Chancellor Monk. I'm doing the same voice for everybody, sorry. Bandits are a constant thorn in our sides as well. Our army was raided recently. Frustration is evident as they pace around. We believe the bandits retreated to a camp east of here. Find them and return our weapons. So we got our quest there, and just a reminder, we could move in here and not fight these guys immediately, and instead engage with the quest if we wanted to. But yeah, I mean, if Heart's Landing isn't a fight, let's go there. So there's no road connecting, so I'll go ahead and spend 2 to move in. And let's see what it says. The people of Heart's Landing derive part of their identity from a reliance upon one another, and part from separating themselves from the community of Hearthstead. Heart's Landing residents are generally uninterested in adhering to the habits of typical society. Instead, they gather resources from the wild, reuse and repurpose the refuse discarded by Hearthstead, and even resort to robbery when the need arises. The people of Heart's Landing live by a unique code, however. In general, they only prey upon the most prosperous Heartlanders. Okay, so we got Robin Hood over here. All right, so we can talk to Robin Cowell for 1. We can try to recruit them if we have Memory 8A, or hire them if we have Memory 2A. Or we can climb around to get some money. Well, I've got 2 left, so should I try to do the climbing and then talk to her next round? Sure, here we go. We're doing 2 climbing. So we want to get 6 through 9, and it's body bonus. All right, we only have 2 cards left. It's a 2 and a 3, okay. Taking a fatigue and continuing to flip. It's 4. I think our highest card is a 4, so we should still be safe. There we go, 8. Let's stop. Oh, wait. Read Secret 07. Hold on, was that a body card? Were any of them body cards? No. Okay. This seems like a really good thing if I go 1 more and succeed. Let's try. Ooh, 1! Yay! Okay, read Secret 07. Is that like a different part of the book? All right, look away if you don't want kind of spoilers. One does not expect to find a lean-to shelter at the top of a mountain with a solitary figure making a stew underneath. The cook waves you over as though they had been expecting you. Hello, my name is Bernard. I've just made some visitor's stew for you. It's a vegetarian dish with local roots, barley, and lots of beef chunks for my dog. He loves the beef chunks. Please help yourself. Before you can question any of it, he pushes the bowl of stew into your hands and sits down with you. Now over yonder you can see the terraces. Despite straining your eyes, you cannot. I've hidden something special there within a chest, something my dog desperately needs. As is customary for a guest, once you have accepted a stranger's meal on a mountaintop, you are indebted to undergo a grueling test and retrieve the special item within that chest. Good luck! Bernard pats you on the shoulder and walks away, leaving you alone in the shelter. A dog is nowhere to be seen. What is up with this dude? All right, but we get Memory 1A. So how those work, we take the A or the B side, and we put it here, and we got Memory 1A. Now, where did he say? The terrace. Where? Oh, God. Okay. So if we go all the way over there, I assume there will be an interaction option that checks if we have Memory 1A, and then we can find this guy's treasure. Is his dog in the treasure chest? Is there a dog? I don't know. But either way, I'm out of cards, so let's draw 5 more, and let's see what's going on. 2 movement, but luckily they can't go through Hearthstead, so they are coming around. Can they go to Heart's Landing? Yeah, so I think the ones... God, it's really close. I think the ones that have like you see like the dots? Yeah, there's like a little like white kind of outline. So Bayfort, Greendale, Heart's End, and Clovershire, those ones are protected. Riverton, Heart's Landing, you see how, and like the Crags, you see how they don't have that. So I think enemies can go in there. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to say they can come into Heart's Landing if I stay too long. But yeah, at the start of the round, let's talk to Robin. So I need to persuade 3 to 6. Oh, I think Spirit I actually have a lot of. So I need to get 3 to 6, Spirit with +1. Got to discard a card to do that. And here we go. 1 with no Spirit. Let's flip again. 2, 3, good to go. We have simple needs, money, and we've got word of a juicy stash that only we know about. Problem is the landscape's crawling with uglies. If you care to help us, we'll make it worth your while. Okay, so we can seek out the stash or leave the Heart's Landing crew to their own business. Yeah, sure, we'll seek out the stash. So we gain, a new quest, Secret Stash. Oh, geez. It's all the way over above Clovershire. Robin Cowell had laid out a sorry tale of a supply caravan that had fallen on unfortunate times? Are they missing a word? What sort of bad luck? It's a he. Whoops, Robin. He didn't describe. However, there was the train full of loot, just where he described. The only problem is that a band of bandits have set up camp nearby. Whether they're aware of the presence of lost goods nearby, it isn't easy to discern. Yeah, okay, so it's a fight. Ooh, level 3 suggested fight. No, thank you. But I think we still did this one, right? We just talked to him. We got to go back to Hearthstead, of course. Well, here, let's teleport back, because I don't want to accidentally run afoul of them. So I'll get rid of all my cards. And sure, I mean, we'll rest, right? No reason not to. I can definitely level up at least once. And I think I might call the video there. I'll still give some impressions in a second, but I might do a follow-up video to this one after I've played more. And after I've gotten the chance to play with 2 players, because they didn't send enough materials in the initial thing, like it's missing one of the trays or whatever. But before we rest, let's see. The people love our new heroes, Supreme Commander Senhao beams. I see potential recruits here. Grand Magus Bex presents a suggestion. Have you visited our field offices in Clovershire, Bayfort, and Greendale yet? Go and see for yourself which one is the right fit. Okay, so we gain Quest Region Renown, and we get Memory 14A, and visit Clovershire. What is that? Is that part of the quest? What are they telling me to do? I don't know. But I get 2 more loot dice, 6 money, and 7 more experience, and not enough to level up twice, but pretty close. Actually, wait. It is enough to level up twice. What the heck? But we're going to go ahead and rest and see what we get. So our stuff resets, and we're about to level up to where we get 7 max health. Nice. All right, let's see if we can get an uncommon item. Ooh. So we'll trade both of those in. To roll an orange, which has, 2 uncommon, 2 common, 1 arrow, 1 5. And, we got it. So clearly we'll sell some of this stuff. Oh, good. We finally got a weapon. Oh, we got several weapons. Enchanted Cloak. Ooh, nice. This literally is just a straight up upgrade because look, it still has ward weaving, but also has conjuration. And then I don't know why there's a dot there. Do I slot in a materia from Final Fantasy VII? But that's great. And okay, we got an accessory that gives brutality. So why do some of them have a little dot or not? Can you not? I wonder. Can you not add one of these unless it has... Oh, it does go right over that. So do it for the Enchanted Cloak too. Okay, so I'm guessing, I didn't see this in the rules, but I'm guessing that only items that have that can have these things added to them. We're not going to worry about that for now. So Aegis is protection, right? Brutality sounds pretty brutal. Reflex, I'm guessing gives me little dodging stuff. And then Shadow, I mean, for the type of person I'm going for so far, I would say Reflex might be cool. And then I'd level up twice. So I can now get, what can I get? I can get 1 Conjuration, 1 Reflex, and 2 more CP. Ooh. Not sure how I feel about the 1 reflex card. Look, dodge. When you are attacked, block all damage and discard this card, but it costs 2. Whoops. But I guess that would be pretty awesome if I'm facing off against those one guys I saw, those really strong guard guys, a single really tough enemy. This would be pretty great, so sure. And then Spectral Sword. At the start of each turn, I add a counter. And then at the end of a turn, I may target an enemy in my zone or an adjacent zone, deal 2 damage for each counter, then discard this card. Ooh, so it just builds up. And if I got a lot of defense and dodges, that's pretty dang awesome. And I got 3 CP, so I could get a 2 CP card, I could get 2 1 CP cards, or I could put back the little ding I got and get a 3 CP. Let me see what the 3 CP is. Blink Step. Move up to 2 for 1, and then at the end of turn, move up to 2 and discard this card. So it gives you 4 move for 1 cost. That's pretty cool. Oh, and then Harmonize is also 3. Costs 0. Whenever you shuffle your discard pile to make a new deck, heal 1 and draw 1. Ooh, it's pretty cool too. Just a little ongoing thing. And then what's Focus Blast? Target an enemy that is adjacent or in your zone. Deal 8 damage. Woo! We're getting this. We're getting that. That's my 2 CP plus the 1 I already spent. By the way, just in case you think it's too good, that costs 3. That's a 3 right there. So if I have a 5-card hand, that's all of it, pretty much. That's right, I have all of these to potentially sell or swap out. And yeah, there we go. So these guys would reset to their starting things. So we could go retrieve the weapons. We can go get that pile of goods for the bandit people. We could go visit Bayfort and do the regional renown thing. We could go to the terraces and find that dude's dog trapped in a treasure chest. So yeah, lots of fun stuff going on. But let's get into some initial thoughts. Because again, this is my first time playing the game. And you can see I'm not 100% on the rules and such. But I think this is cool. The big thing they said they were going for is to make the whole adventure and combat thing really fast. And holy heck, at least for solo, it's fast as anything. And even with more players and a few more enemies, I don't think the battles would last very long. So yeah, they are definitely creating an experience where you can get through a bunch of stuff. I think you could probably sit down and play for 15 minutes and still accomplish maybe 1 quest, or you could sit down for 2 hours and probably get through a ton of stuff. And they're planning to have these really cool game trays. This one already works really well, even though the character one wasn't great. So like, it keeps a lot of the stuff you're dealing with. It keeps the quest that you have active. This slots in right on top of it, so you can even save like where stuff is on the map. And then once they get this set up and like these things working, you should be able to do the exact same thing with each of your characters. So kind of like, I guess, Chip Theory's Elder Scroll will be the closest analogy. This seems like it'll be really easy to put away and bring back out, because besides like, this and your character board and your stuff, there's really not much to set up. Like for the combats, you just grab some standees, grab their activation cards, and you're good to go. So yeah, initial impressions are that they have 100% succeeded at what they're going for. This is going to be a very like streamlined, quick to play, quick to progress kind of thing. It's got the quest lines. You can see the quests chain into each other because they use the same banner. You got some secrets to discover, side quests. And some of the cards are special, like you have cards that are titles, and if you complete a title, which you can get from the Sage, which is like another little side quest, you can get a temporary card added to your deck that gives you really cool power. You can get relics that add a special card themselves to your deck, which reminds me a bit of, Runebound 3rd Edition, where you would get certain like items and they would add a token into your bag. So I think everything looks really cool. It's a lot of fun so far. It remains to be seen whether the combat will be interesting. Clearly, my first 2 fights were kind of like stupidly easy, but I think that's kind of the point. And, clearly once I start having a few more enemies and such, that should change. Also, I need to see how smoothly things work for multiple players. There are some rules that need to be clarified, but honestly, already I feel like the core gameplay is pretty straightforward. And I didn't even, get on with a designer yet to learn how to play. This is just me kind of riffing off of the rulebook they sent me. So very positive impressions so far. If I get to play it more, I will update y'all. But I hope that was a useful taste of the game. I'm sure they'll be putting out some of their own videos of it, and other content creators will have stuff soon too. But for now, thanks for watching and hope you had fun. And a special thank you to our biggest Patreon supporters, J. William F., Steve Wren, Pedro Lucas, Miles, Casey W., Andrew R., and Chris C. We'll see you at the next stop.